देखो individuals lives spontaneous living in a primary group. प्राइमरी ग्रुप में हम स्पॉन्टेनियस लिविंग थे कौन स्पॉन्टेनियस लिविंग आज मैं कहबी त माने घर बर्तन दूर को आछे विश्व में बहुत दूर आछे हॉस्टल रे अछि जेते बेले गले हम घर करिवो ना किछु एठी जे गले हमरा कोन बेटा वाला सरला पर एक पटे जो कोन रे काले की कोन रे नेक्स्ट स्टूडेंट्स primary group individuals lives a spontaneous living in a primary group. Spontaneity is more directly and clearly revealed in a primary group. Because of the spontaneous living, members of a primary group come freely together in an informal manner. These informal groups satisfies the need for spontaneous living. पिले मन रखो इनफॉर्मल ग्रुप भितरे हमें कोन कोन स्पॉन्टेनियस लिविंग रे रहू कोन स्पॉन्टेनियस लिविंग ओतपुट भाबरे जडित थाउ मामा बाबा भाई भौणी जे भी जाय थांती हम जेते लोग गले प्राइमरी पुनी रिटर्न करो बेनेडिक्शन रे नेक्स्ट स्टूडेंट्स प्राइमरी ग्रुप प्रोवाइड्स a stimulus to each of its members in the pursuit of interest the presence of others near and dear ones in a group acts as a stimulus to each. Here, members get help, cooperation, and inspiration from others. The interest is keenly appreciated and more ardently followed when it is shared by all the members. It is effectively pursued together. प्रकृତରେ प्राइमरी ग्रुप रे जो मेंबर माने अछन ताके भितरे गोटे पर्सुएशन रही थाए गोटे प्रकार आदान प्रदान रही थाए एवं कोऑर्डिनेशन रही थाए तो सक्सेसफुल इंडिविजुअल्स देन primary group provides security to all its members. Particularly, it provides security to the children, parents. It also provides security to its members at the time of need. A member always feel a kind of emotional support and feel that there is someone on his side. તમે જે એક છે કે જે અસુવિધા ને ઘર को फोन करछ તમે જોડે છે જેતે પ્રકાર ગ્રુપ અટેન્ડ કરો ସବୁ બેલે फैमिली मेंबर से अटैच रहिलो फैमिलियर रिलेशनशिप मध्ये रहिलो और देखा primary group develops democratic spirit within itself. It develops the quality of love, affection, sympathy, cooperation, mutual help, and sacrifice. Tolerance and equality among its members. The members with tolerance and equality to their members. Primary group introduces individual to society. It teaches them how to live a successful life in a society. But a society can become a successful life. It is the breeding ground of its modes and nurses. Is a loyalty. K. Davis is right when he recognized that the primary group in the form of a family initiates us into the secrets of society. Society secret develop. It helps the individual to internalize social norms and in a what is the meaning of a culture? Culture the प्रकृति number actually determination of a society. कि जो समाज रे एग्जिस्ट करछ कल्चर हम कोन करे रिलोकेट करि दे कल्चर गला से भले हमें जदी कहिबा लिटरेचर इज द मिरर ऑफ द सोसाइटी जो सोसाइटी कोन केमति घटुची कोन केमति प्रकृति रे सर कोई नहीं आसी कि बड़ी प्रकार घटना घटुची से तबले हमको रिफ्लेक्शन आसी जाई करी हम देखि दियो ठीक है हमरो K. Davis is right when he recognized that the primary group in the form of a family initiates into the secret of society. It helps the individual to internalize social norms and realize norms culture. बहुत गुडी कल्चर अछि जोटा हम फैमिली लाइफ रे शिखु अलग कोई जगह सेटा हमें सब्सिट्यूट करि परिबा नाही फैमिली रे सब्स्टिट्यूशन नाही हमर मैनर हैला कस्टम हैला नॉर्म हैला जे कुछ प्रकार रो होय छै सब सोशल वैल्यू सिस्टम प्राइमरी ग्रुप में हम इंक्लूड करे दे चेक कर दे अब कोन सेक्रेटरी अवेलेबल देखो Primary group encourages the efficiency of individuals by creating a favorable atmosphere of work. केमिति कोन फेवरेबल एटमॉस्फेयर में क्रिएट कर पारे। It provides them security and teaches many good qualities, बहुत गुड qualities गुड मध्य में ऑब्जर्व करते हैं। Next, primary groups also fulfills different needs of society. Society में बहुत variety by different needs होते हैं। It is the nucleus of all social organizations. Different type of social organization में ये nucleus इसे function करते हैं। Secondary group. Though it is said that Kulle has classified groups into primary and secondary, Kulle group को classify करके primary और secondary, but actually he nowhere used the term secondary group. कोई secondary group भी use करे ना. But what it was later. Though it is said that Kulle has classified a group into primary and secondary, but actually he nowhere used the term secondary group. Secondary group का term के भी use करना. But it was later days. Scholars infer the concept of secondary group from the Kulle's primary. Hence, we will discuss this because it has a special significance in modern society. Modern society में हर किसी significance roles. Secondary groups are almost opposite of the primary groups. They are large in size and are short of duration. Short duration by objectivity. Or face-to-face contacts are lacking. Secondary group में face-to-face contact होता है. तो हमें बर्तमान जो पाठा पढ़ते हैं ये secondary group. Secondary group. हम घर को पढ़े गला परे हमारे ये जो primary group. सेठी face-to-face contact ये जो face-to-face contact ये जो हम बोलूँचे. समाज में पश्चिम दिने मना रखिए ना. तब क्लास चली गई बोलिए. African impact pardon. Here face-to-face contacts are lacking. In the secondary groups, human contacts are superficial and undefined. Superficial, ऊपर क्या हो गया? Members of secondary group do not know each other personally and express only indirect influence over others. Relations among members are limited in scope and significance and is based on self-interest calculations. Here, individual members cooperate and communicate with each other through indirect means and formal rules. इस formal rule को लेकर individual member माने निजे exist करें. Interactions among members are formal, utility oriented and interest based. That is why secondary group is called as a special interest group. Secondary group को हम special interest group बोले कहेंगे. Relations among members are impersonal and touch and go type and secondary in nature. They are characteristics of modern industrial society. Specialization and division of labor are the main characteristics of the secondary group. Secondary group में specialization how division of labor are important. A city, nation, political party, trade union, factory, corporation are classic examples of the secondary group. Sociologists like Paul Landis called the secondary group as cold world. Who said secondary group as cold world? Underline करो. और इंग्लिश में जो मैंने लिखा है अंडरलाइन कर दिया. ओडिया पिला मानकर ग्रुप को रीडिंग करो, ग्रुप को खोल के रखो, कोटा को बीरो ग्रुप हेलन किंबा जो नंबर अछि संतोष सैम को बुक से बुक कर एक बार रही छी अंडरलाइन करिबो जोटा डाउट कर सिकरे क्लास में बता देबो. Sociologists plot language all language called a secondary group as cold world. Secondary groups are consciously or to fulfill some objectives which are objective. According to K. Davis, secondary groups can be roughly defined as the opposite of everything already said about primary group. जो primary group तो अलग कोई जाइए, secondary group. According to Ogun and Nichols, the groups which provide experience lacking in intimacy are called secondary group. Secondary group. According to S.T. Majumdar, when face-to-face contact are not present in the relations of members, we have secondary group. जेतरे face-to-face relation नथा है, आमे तो secondary group बोले कहिथारो. According to P.S. Landis, secondary groups are those that are relatively casual and impersonal in their relationships. Relationships in them are usually competitive rather than mutually helpful. Mutually helpful relationship. According to E.W. Stewart, secondary groups are groups created for specific purposes. and interested in their members mainly for their contribution to the process a proportional normal contribution type. The meaning of a secondary group will be more clearly understood if we analyze its characteristics, and these characteristics are as follows. Controlling characteristics of the first, a large size. Secondary groups are large in size. They comprise of a large number of members, and these members may spread all over the world. They are visually spread. For example, the Red Cross Society, its members scattered all over the world, are visually scattered around. Because of this large size, indirect relations among the members with their indirect relations. Second is definite aims. Secondary groups are formed to fulfill some definite aims. The success of a secondary group is judged according to the extent by which it became able to fulfill those aims. A school, college, or university is open to provide education and voluntary membership. The membership of a secondary group is voluntary in nature, whether one will be a member of a secondary group or not. It depends on his own volition. No one can compel him to be a member of any secondary group. It is not essential that one should be a member of a particular political party, but a particular political party a member of. Formal, indirect, and informal relations. The relations among the members of a secondary group are indirect, formal, and impersonal. People do not develop personal relations among themselves. Relations in a secondary group is not face-to-face, rather touch and go type. They interact among themselves in accordance with the formal rules and regulations. Formal rule of regulation only say develop because of a large size, it is not possible to establish direct relations among themselves. One is not directly concerned with the other aspects of his fellow's life. Contact and relation among members are to relation with the active and inactive members in a secondary group, we found both active as well as inactive members. Some members became more active while others remain inactive. For example, in a political party, some members do not take active interest, while some others take active interest in party work. Party workers. Formal rules, a secondary group is characterized by formal or written rules. These formal rules and regulations exercise control over its members. A secondary group is organized and regulated by formal rules and regulations. A formal authority is set up and a clear-cut division of labor is made. गोटे विशेष कर समर विभाजन करा जाउचे who he who do not obey these formal rules and regulations which is his membership जे formal rule and regulation न मानिबो तार प्रकृति membership को यूज करो. Status of individual depends on his role. Secondary group रे जे जेमति जार रोल ताको निभेई पारिला मेंटेन करि पारिला ताको सेटिटा प्रेस्टीज मिलिला. It is another important characteristic of a secondary group because in a secondary group the status and position of each and every member depends on his role that he plays in the group. Birth or personal qualities do not decide one's status in a secondary group. Secondary group is determined by individuality in person. Secondary group is popularly known as special interest group. The special interest group because people became a member of the secondary group to fulfill their self-interest and self-interest. Hence, they always give stress on the fulfillment of their self-interest. After fulfillment of this interest, they are no longer interested in the group. As a result, the secondary group individuality in a person is found. Self-dependence among members. Self-dependency among members is another important characteristic of the secondary group. Secondary group is the important characteristics. Because of the large size of the secondary group, the relations among the members are indirect and impersonal. Members are also selfish. As a result, each member tries to safeguard and fulfills his own interest by himself. Dissimilar ends. Different type. Secondary group is characterized by dissimilar ends. Equal not same not The members of a secondary group have different and diverse strengths. Community page पाठ करेंगे कि ऐसी पाठ पढ़िबो कि ऐसी लोग जो एग्जाम करो कि ऐसी ये करो कि ऐसी कोशिश करी कमिटमेंट करिबो कि ऐसी लोग जो किसी प्रोग्राम देखियो एमती विभिन्न प्रकार एम ऑब्जेक्ट हमरा आछो कि फैमिली की गला हमर कॉमन गोटी ऑब्जेक्ट relationship is a means to an end. Secondary relationship is not an end in itself rather. It is a means to an end. Establishment of a relationship is not an end rather. Individual establish relationship to fulfill his self-interest. They became friends for specific purposes. Formal social control. A secondary group exercises control over its members in formal ways such as police, court, army, etc. Formal means of social control plays an important role in a secondary group. Secondary group is a very important role. Then division of labor. A secondary group is characterized by division labor, the duties, functions, and responsibilities of members are clearly defined. Each member has to perform each allocated functions. The allocated function will be importance of a secondary group. Secondary group importance will ecology, sociology study of groups is mainly 20th century phenomenon. The secondary group का जो रोजी concept 20th century phenomenon, but it is a truism that human life is essentially group life. Hence, the study of groups is of utmost importance in understanding the behavior of men and women. It is an accepted fact that a group exercises considerable influence on its members. Not only primary group, but also secondary group exercise considerable influence on its members. Considerable influence on the secondary group classes. As secondary groups are organized and help in fulfilling specific aims of its members, hence it has several importance for both individual and society. Individual and society में किसी importance primary group have several important in a simple, small and agricultural society, but in a present day, modern society, the trend is towards secondary group and the changing trends of a modern technological society have showed how a primary group raise and but the fulfillment of his needs, modern man depends more on a secondary group than on a primary group. Most of the functions of a primary group is being withdrawn one after another. Most of the needs which were earlier satisfied by primary groups are now fulfilled by secondary groups. No doubt, the growth of a secondary group as well as the growing importance of it has created several problems. But we can escape from the dominating influence of the secondary group. Secondary group influence most of our present needs and most of our activities and achievements are carried on to secondary group. However, in spite of its shortcomings, secondary group has the following important advantages or functions. Its importance, the advantages of function has to be efficiency. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ସମସ୍ତେ ଆସିଲେ ମୁଁ କହିବି ଆମ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ कंडीशन सेम ଧର ଯୋଉ ଜଣଙ୍କର ହଉଛି ଇकोनॉमिकली ବାପା ମା ଦୁଇ ଜଣ ହାଇର କରିଥିଲେ ଜଣଙ୍କ ଘରେ ଧର ଯୋଉ ବାପା କ୍ୱାଲିଫାଇଡ ମା ଏତେ ପାଠ ଜଣଙ୍କ ଘରେ ବାପା କ୍ୱାଲିଫାଇଡ ନୁହନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ ମା ଅଧିକ ପାଠ ଜଣ ଘରେ ଧର ଯୋଉ କେମିତି ବାପା ମା ଟୋଟାଲି କେୟାର ନେନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ ପିଲା ବି ପାଠ ତେଣୁ ମୋର କହିବା କଥା ଆମର ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରହୁଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ତମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ କୋଚିଂ କି ଆସିଲ ସେଠି ଦେଖିଲ ଆପଣ କୋଚିଂ ର ଏଫିସିଏନ୍ସି କୋଚିଂ ର परफॉर्मेंस कोचिंग रो टीचिंग किंतु हम परिवार रे कोन हमें देखू हम बापा केन होबा दरकार मां केन होबा दरकार ना बापा मां हम मानक पई सब बेले होचती कोन देवनाथ रे बोले बोले महाप्रसाद बोले हमें तक बारी परिबा से माने हम पे जीवन रखबो से भूल जदी कइले कि ठीक कइले ताको रेक्टिफाई पे हमें किंतु हम एतिकिटा करि परिबा ताको जदी एजुकेटेड हे गिरे ताको जीवन काल भीतर ताको किछि खराब गुण अछि किबा किछि कंजर्वेटिव एटीट्यूड अछि किबा किछि सुपरस्टिशन बुद्धि विवेक अछि ताको जदि परिवर्तन करि परिबा देन आवर एजुकेशन तेणु secondary groups increases the efficiency of each members to fulfill their self-interest and specific goals. All the members work efficiently. A clear-cut division of labor is found among the members. A formal authority is set up and a set of rules are formulated to manage and regulate the secondary group efficiently. Secondary group can be managed. Emphasis is given on getting the work done efficiently. Unlike primary group, emotion and sentiment which is subordinated to achievement. Emotion and sentiment achievement is subordinated. For these duties and responsibilities of the members are clearly defined. All the members try to work efficiently to fulfill their goals and goal can be fulfilled. This helps in increasing the efficiency of its members. Member manakar efficiency को प्रकृति बढ़ाई wider opportunity देखा पिले secondary group रे बहुत किछ हमको सुविधा सुजोग मिले है opportunity मिले secondary group helps in broadening the outlook of its members because it is large in size and its members are multi-distributed. As the secondary group accommodates a large number and variety of individuals and localities, this widens the outlook of its members. Besides, a secondary group is more universal in its judgment. देखो ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ କହିବା ଫ୍ୟାମିଲିର କିଛି କ'ଣ ରୁଲ ରେଗୁଲେସନ ଅଧିକା ଅଛି କି ଫ୍ୟାମିଲି ରୁଲ ରେଗୁଲେସନ ହେଉଛି ଇନଫର୍ମାଲ ଆଜି ବାପା କିଛି ଷ୍ଟ୍ରିକ୍ଟ ହେଲେ କାଲିକି ରିଲାକ୍ସ ହେଇଯିବେ ଆଜି ମା କିଛି ଷ୍ଟ୍ରିକ୍ଟ ହେଲେ ଗାଳି ଦେଲେ କାଲିକି ରିଲାକ୍ସ ହେଇଯିବେ କିନ୍ତୁ ତମେ ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ କିଛି ରୁଲ ଆଉ ରେଗୁଲେସନ ରହୁଛି ଯୋଉଟାକୁ ମାନିକିରି ଚଳିବ ପୁଣି ଦେଖ ଫଙ୍କସନାଲ ଇନ୍ କ୍ୟାରେକ୍ଟର A secondary group relations are devoid of a sentiment characteristic of a primary relation. The secondary relationships are instrumental in accomplishing certain specific tasks. In this sense, they may be regarded as functional characters. Functional character emphasis. Distinction between a primary and secondary group. Both the primary and secondary groups can be distinguished from each other from the following points. First, difference in meaning. Primary group is the nucleus of all social organization. It is characterized by intimate face-to-face association and cooperation. Face-to-face association of cooperation is basically our relation with they are primary in several senses, but they are fundamental in forming the social nature and ideal of individual. Individual social nature could be modified. Family, play group, and neighborhood are examples of primary group. Primary group are examples of family. But secondary groups are large-scale groups in which the relationships are relatively casual, impersonal, and competitive. They are consciously formed to fulfill some common goals or objectives. For example, city, political party, secondary equally considered. Difference in size. A primary group is very small in size and is confined to small area. For small areas, it consists of a very small number of individuals. But the size of a secondary group is very large. It is spread all over the world. The secondary group all over the world. So, I say America, Oxford, Harvard, who university it is widespreading. But the size of the secondary group is very large and it is spread all over the world. Because it consists of 1,000 members who is widespread and scattered all over the world. प्रकृति में यदि हमें चाहिए सेकेंडरी ग्रुप में रिलेशनशिप बहुत बड़ी बड़ी जीव को उदाहरण स्वरूप कहबी तमे फर्स्ट प्रथम श्रेणी जो संग संग रे पढुते द्वितीय श्रेणी रे बढ़ी तृतीय रे आउरी बढ़ी चतुर्थ रे आउरी बढ़ी पंचम रे आउरी बढ़ी षष्ठ सप्तम अष्टम नवम दशम जणसी पढुची ना नहीं प्लस लेवल को पळी आसले बढ़िला प्लस के बढ़िले पीजी करले बढ़िला एमती राई राई जाय हमें देखिबा हमर फ्रेंडशिप का बहुत सेपरेट स्प्रेडिंग difference in stability. Primary groups are relatively stable. For example, family is stable permanent, but the secondary group may be temporary or permanent. Temporary or permanent. These are temporary groups like the relief association. As the secondary groups are special interest groups. After the fulfillment of the interest, which automatically vanishes. What is a flood relief operation? बात्यांचल को बन्यांचल को आमे जो बन्यांचल को गले फ्लड रिलीफ कला को आमे गले केते जण 10 12 जण साथी मिली गले पूरा बोट रे जाई पहुंचले आमे कोउटु बाहरले जगतपुर बाहरले गले कोउटु की छतिया बन्यांचल आमे कोन गले डिस्ट्रीब्यूट गले समस्त गोटे गोटे वेराइटी आइटम दिले जण देला गुड़ जण देला चूड़ा जण देला हमर विशेष कर टैबलेट्स जण देला मुड़ी जण देला बिस्किट जण देला केक एंड विभिन्न वेराइटी बाटले बाटला पर कोन जे जगतपुर पहुंचला में जे जोड़े जीवन कोन एकटी संगे बोलला गोटे विषय तो सेकेंडरी ग्रुप रे जो ऑब्जेक्टिव का फुलफिलमेंट होला पर डिस्पर्स हो जाए अलगाड़ को देखो पुनी सेकेंडरी ग्रुप आगोड़े देखो डिफरेंस इन साइज कतना पड़ले डिफरेंस इन मीनिंग पुनी देखा डिफरेंस इन साइज गला डिफरेंस इन स्टेबिलिटी difference in stability primary groups are relatively stable and durable. For example, family is a stable organization. Difference in cooperation. The nature of cooperation in a primary and secondary group also differs from each other. The members of a primary group directly cooperate with each other. Cooperation they play, sit and discuss together due to face-to-face contact and personal relationship. Direct cooperation among members is possible. But the members of a secondary group indirectly cooperate with each other. Secondary group members mane indirectly cooperate because there exists indirect relation among the members. Difference in structure. According to the type of structure, both the primary and secondary group can be distinguished from each other. Primary group is based on an informal structure and is very wide. All the members participate in the same process and it is regulated by informal rules and regulations. On the other hand, secondary group is based on formal structure and is regulated by a set of formal rules and regulations. Both the formal rule and regulation to the secondary group. Difference relationship. A great deal of difference is found in the relationship among the members of a primary and secondary. There exists a direct, intimate, and personal relationship among the members of the primary group. The relations are all inclusive because primary group is relationship direct, but there exists direct and impersonal relations among the members of the secondary group. Secondary group is a direct and impersonal relationship. Here, relations are secondary. Then students, difference in the method of social control. Both the primary and secondary group can be distinguished from each other on the basis of the means by which they exercise control over their member control. Primary group exercises control over its member through informal means such as customs, wage, most. Secondary groups have limited control over its members, but secondary group control the behavior of its member through formal means such as police, jail, तम घरे तम बापा तमे भूल कर तुमको बाड़ेले एठी कोन करिवो तमे किछि भूल कलो तमे सामने सामने भीतर बाड़ा बाड़ी तमे यदि घरे भूल करछो किछि भाई बड़ बाड़ा बाड़ी धूमधड़ा इंडिया पाकिस्तान वाला बाड़ा बाड़ी घर लोग कहले आकुड़े जबड़ा तम दी जण खाए दिए तुम बिस्तो हो जा घर बाहर जा घर लोग कहले सेकेंडरी ग्रुप में धर दे तमे सामने सामने भीतर बाड़ा बाड़ी सिटी कोन में सामने कोड होची रे एफआईआर दिया हला जे मारी दिला 14 जेल को बोला तो सेकेंडरी ग्रुप रे अलगा प्रकार रहिबो कोन भी लीगल एक्शन एटा फैमिली भीतर डिसीजन फैमिली रे नॉर्मलिटी लॉ ऑफ अफेक्शन then difference in the methods of social control both the primary and secondary group can be distinguished from each other on the basis of the means by which they exercise control over their members. Primary group exercises control over its members through informal means on custom of wage most. Secondary groups have limited control over its members, but secondary group control the behavior of its members through formal means such as difference in goal. Members of a primary group have similar or common aims and objectives. Goal of a particular member is considered as the goal of all other members. But in a secondary group, members of different groups. Each individual has his own group surveillance for the particular which he joins in the group. There are different goal କଥା ଆମେ କହୁଥିଲେ basically ମୁଁ କହିବି प्राइमरी ग्रुप रे जो मैंने मेंबर रहिले ताको गोलटा होची लक्ष्य गोटी किंतु सेकेंडरी ग्रुप रे गोलटा होची वेरिएशन मु उदाहरण स्वरूप कहबी तमे एउटु गलो घरकु घरे गला परे मामा खाई जा हे जी तमु जोडे खाइ दिया जियो भाई सेटा दिया जियो मम्मी सेटा दिया जियो बापू सेटा दिया जियो मां सेटा दिया जियो समस्त इक्वली दिए किंतु सेकेंडरी ग्रुप रे जने घरे गले रोटी खाइबो जने गले भात खाइबो जने गले चूड़ा खाइबो जने गले मुड़ी खाइबो जने गले मैगी खाइबो केते वेराइटी प्रकार हमर एम्बिशन चेंज होइबो ऑब्जेक्टिव चेंज हैला तले में देखिबा difference in effect of a personality both the primary and secondary group can be distinguished from each other on the degrees by which they affect or determine the personality of an individual. Primary group has a greater influence on the development of personality. It influences the total personality of an individual. But the personality will change. But secondary group has a little influence on the development of personality of an individual. Individual personality or the digital it is mainly concerned with a particular aspect of the personality of the individual personality difference in physical personality. Both the primary and secondary group can be distinguished from each other on the grounds of physical appearance. Members of the primary group live physical ଭଲ କହିଲେ ଖରାପ ଯେ କୁହନ୍ତି ସିରିୟସନେସ୍ बालीक्षेत्र पढ़िया काम कर पढ़ रहे हैं तो किसी के ऊपर नहीं देखो पहले both the primary and secondary group may be distinguished from each other on the grounds of a physical nearness. Members of a primary group live in physical proximity with each other. There exist face-to-face relations among the members. And the members of the secondary group live at a scattered place. Physical exposure is absent among the members of the secondary group. Primary group. They सूर्योदय बेले देखले परिवार लोक सूर्यास्त समय देखले परिवार लोक रात्रि खाया को गला बेले देखले परिवार लोक सकाळ पर उठला परिवार लोक आज सेकेंडरी ग्रुप रे मु तम गडी पाठ पढौ छु मु जदी काल रे पाठ पढै जे मास के की हो गेला तमे सारा से ना आपण सारा से पढै देबो दैट इज सफिशिएंट जो लेकिन प्राइमरी ग्रुप रे प्लेसमेंट हे करे जने परिवार रे अछि ताको जदी हमें चाली गेला ताले हम कोन सब दिन बोलिबा केबे नै एति में हम भाई को पूरा আছে 10 12 वर्ष हे गेला तथापि काली गेला हम काम पर बिंदर हम स्थिर मन हम सेकेंडरी ग्रुप से सिधा ही करिबो प्रति वर्ष पिला आसु जदी बोलु जदी बेसु जदी एई हम से विषय को बोलते कोन दिन समय আছে तमे এটা হচ্ছে জীবনের লক্ষ্য তুমি জিও মানে दिन समय से तुम कोई परगर को बोले जो तुम गला से परगर को निजे घर को कहबो सेटा करो दिन समय से पुणी के गोडा अलडा संसार रे दिन ओकरा बाटरे बोले संसार एटा नीति है हमें होचे ए जो रंगमंच रे गोटे गोटे नाटककार ए नाटककार रे जो बही गुडा लिखा है कि विश्व रे जतिक गछ अछि से होची पेन समुद्र जल होची काली हमें हेले सब एक्टर एक्ट्रेस विश्वजित किंतु डायरेक्टर होचने अलमाइटी गॉड तांकरी खेल रे हमें सब खेल चली मोहमय संसार के ही दबा नबा संसार देले सब निज पहले देखिबा the relationship among the members of a primary group is spontaneous in nature whereas the relationship among the members of a secondary group is governed by external forces रिलेशनशिप बड़े बड़े कौन हुए पिले एक्सटर्नल फोर्सेस द्वारा गवर्न हुए केमिति सेकेंडरी ग्रुप रे तमे एठी मो बकरे जोना सुना होती जदियो 3-4 मास भीतर में पाठ पढले तमे मो बदले किछ जानले मो तुम बदले किछ जानले सेकेंडरी ग्रुप किंतु प्राइमरी ग्रुप रे हम ग्रांडफादर वगैरह में किछ जानछु फादर वगैरह किछ जानछु वर्तमान प्रेजेंट जनरेशन to stand still and spontaneous. Primary relationship is all inclusive. Here, each member know each other personally and they are concerned with the total aspect of human being. Human being but secondary relationship is not at all inclusive. Here, members do not know each other personally and they are not concerned with the total aspect of the life of the members. Ali, Plan दे ये जो सापुल को कोटा टेके देखो हमर प्राइमरी ग्रुप रे कोन रहइबा ना मेंबर माने करे टोटली रिलेशनशिप पर्सपेक्टिव हो रिलेशनशिप गोटे बॉन्डेज ता सेटा होची नेचुरल सेकेंडरी ग्रुप रे रिलेशनशिप होची आर्टिफिशियल हमें देखो जो प्राइमरी ग्रुप रे ऑल इज ऑल इंक्लूसिव जन्म मरण जहां भी गोटे प्राइमरी ग्रुप रो मेंबर माने ही सेलिब्रेट करिवो सेकेंडरी ग्रुप रे देखिबे स्टेटस रे कि व्हाट्सएप रे हम से लोकटा चिन्हा थिला कि चली गला एंड दैट इज सेकेंडरी प्राइमरी ग्रुप से ऑल इंक्लूसिव पूरा डीप ओके इन ग्रुप आउट ग्रुप बाबत रे पढी देखो famous sociologist William Graham has classified groups on the basis of feeling into two broad categories such as in group and social group sundar data group divide kale the individual belongs to a number of groups which is considered as a group will be considered in groups are the groups with which an individual identifies himself completely identify करेतिले members of in group has feelings of attachment sympathy and affection towards the other member of groups all the member मान को feeling of attachment in groups are generally based on consensus of kind in group रे समस्त को भीतर किछि समतुल्यता रहै members of the in group identify themselves with the word we जेतेबेले विश्वजित आज हम कहबे हम सोशियोलॉजी पिरियड अछि स्टूडेंट टीचर मिसिकरी 11 जन कि 10 जन अछि हम भीतर गोटा वी फीलिंग अछि हम भीतर गोटा वी फीलिंग अछि गोटा अटैचमेंट रहि छि जोटा कोन करे हमें बॉन्डेज पे हमको हेल्प कर नेक्स्ट स्टूडेंट्स हमें देखिनियो famous sociologist William Graham has classified groups on the basis of we feeling in groups are the groups with which an individual identifies himself completely. Members of in group has a feeling of attachment, sympathy, we feeling. In groups are relative to particular social circumstances. These groups are marked by feeling of ethnocentrism. In group में करें in groups are generally based on consciousness of a kind but not mind consciousness of a kind members of in group identify themselves with the word we in groups are relative to particular social circumstances. These groups are marked by feeling of ethnocentrism. The members of in group consider their group superior other than other groups. The family, the tribe, the college, the village to which a person belongs are in groups. देखो पहले हमें कॉलेज रे पाठ पढुछ वर्तमान तम मान भीतर ओटा बॉन्डेज वी फीलिंग दोछि तमे घर जो आपोटे दिन पर तमे जीव पिकनिक हम संग मन सहित बुलिबा जते बेले ए तोर मोर संग होइकरी बुलिबा की पड़े हजि गेला कि से सुजाता कोड गला से ये कोड गला तम भीतर डिस्कशन तमे बाहर गला में तम मन भीतर एउटा बॉन्डेज रहिला नेक्स्ट स्टूडेंट्स the members of an in group feel that their personal welfare in some way or other connected with the other members of the group in the relationship among the members. The in group they display cooperation, goodwill, and mutual help and respect for each other. जो in group होता है basically if you consider the case of college and school सेठी जे तमरो बॉन्डिंग रहउची जनकर जदी बर्थडे होउची आउ जन जते गोटे विश न कर निजु करा that is hard challenge जति दिन पर्यंत तम भीतर कांटेक्ट रहउची क्लोज कांटेक्ट एटलीस्ट जदी जनकर आछि जे अर्पितार बर्थडे तक हम बर्थडे कहबे काली जते अर्पिता से सांग को निजु करा पाई बर्थडे रे विश करे कारण से निजर होई से मो बर्थडे रे मते विश करे मते बर्थडे रे विश करे बटे ह्यूमैनिटेरियन एक पर्सनल तुम के बाध्य करिबेनी जने लोक तुम के मुंडिया मारछ नमस्कार करता मने गिरी पड़े से दिन नमस्कार ना आउ नमस्कार होबे तर मन रख जोडी प्रकृति रे फेलो फीलिंग अछि ऑटोमेटिकली गुड अटैचमेंट members of in group possess a sense of solidarity and feeling of brotherhood in group members are always ready to sacrifice themselves for the group because of in group human qualities like love sacrifice and sympathy develop among individual manner develop in a group may be called as we are warriors हम प्रकृति रे कहले हम प्रकृति ओडिया बोली देखो पहले in group members identify themselves with a group as a whole in groupness is the core of group life this in group members of an in group from all other people what is the meaning or characteristics of in group first is ethnocentrism देखो ethnocentrism कौन कहते हैं according to सोमनाथ ethnocentrism is the most important characteristics of a group to organize ethnocentrism is that view of things in which one's own group is centered of everything and others are scaled with reference to it प्रथम निजर इंटरेस्ट को फुलफिलमेंट करो तापर अलग इंटरेस्ट बदले के कथा because of this feeling members of in group consider their group superior than other groups ସେମାନେ ସବୁବେଳେ consider करते हम group that of other groups ये कि वर्तमान लर्निंग पे इंडिया के तमे रिलेशनशिप एटा इन ग्रुप कोन टाइप